Hello, orchid lovers from all around the world. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, full of excitement, success, and maybe a little peace between all the busy moments. As for today's video, we've got an orchid that's actually in very good condition, and I'm really excited to show you more about it. The most obvious signs of its health are right here on the leaves. They're firm, turgid, and carry that deep, healthy shade of dark green. No wrinkles, no wilting, just the way we love to see them. If you look closer, there's also a touch of reddish-purple pigmentation along the flower spike and even a bit under some leaves. That's completely normal for this type of orchid. In fact, it's a great sign. It means the plant has been getting strong, healthy light, just the right amount it needs to thrive. However, the root system tells us another story. It's a bit dry, losing that vibrant green and showing some signs of age. That's why in today's video, we're going to give this lovely plant a brand new home. And we'll also treat it using our new homemade fertilizer solution. So grab your tools, settle in, and let's get started. When we remove the plant from its old pot, you can immediately notice how tightly packed everything is. The roots have formed this dense ball right in the middle, almost like they've been hugging each other too long. But if you look closer, you'll see that many of the roots near the center are in poor condition. They've probably been suffocating from a lack of airflow, and some might even be soft, mushy, or already turning brown, signs that they've started to rot. This happens a lot when a medium holds moisture for too long or isn't changed for several years. The roots lose their ability to breathe. Healthy orchid roots love air just as much as they love water. So once the air spaces close up, the plant begins to struggle quietly from the inside. So what we want to do first is gently remove all of the old substrate. Use your fingers to loosen the material little by little, working your way around the roots. If the old medium is tightly stuck, don't rush it. You can soak the whole root ball in clean water for a few minutes to soften it up. That'll make it easier to separate without tearing the roots. As you go, keep an eye out for any parts that are still green and firm. Those are the living roots, and we'll want to preserve as many of those as possible. Once you've finished cleaning, you should be left with the bare root system. And from here, we can really start to see what we're working with, which roots can still support the plant, and which ones need to go. Using a clean shear or a pair of scissors, we're going to carefully trim off the parts of the roots that are no longer able to provide nutrients for the plant. Before you begin, always make sure your tool is clean and sharp. You can wipe it with alcohol or boiling water to sterilize it. This small step helps prevent bacteria or fungus from spreading to the healthy roots later on. Now, look closely at the roots. The ones that are healthy will feel firm, almost springy when you press them gently, and they'll have a silvery green or light beige color. The unhealthy ones, on the other hand, are usually soft, brown, or hollow. Sometimes when you tug lightly, the outer layer slides right off, leaving only a thin string inside. Those are the ones we want to remove. Take your time while trimming. Move slowly and carefully around the root ball. Try not to cut too close to the base of the plant, because even a small remaining piece of healthy tissue can still help the orchid recover. Remember, it's better to leave a few questionable roots than to remove too many. Once you're done, you should start to see a cleaner, tidier root system, lighter, freer, and ready to breathe again. With a gentle water spray, let's give this orchid a nice, refreshing wash. Use clean water, preferably room temperature. Not too cold, not too warm. Just enough to rinse away any leftover pieces of old substrate or dust clinging to the roots. As you spray, make sure to reach around all sides of the root system. Gently rotate the plant so the water can flow evenly through the roots. This helps wash away any hidden dirt or old fertilizer residue that might block airflow later on. If you notice any roots still holding bits of moss or bark, you can use your fingers to loosen them under the running water. Be gentle though. Orchid roots are quite sensitive when wet, and pulling too hard might tear them. Once everything looks clean and fresh, give the plant a few gentle shakes to remove excess water. The roots should look brighter now. You'll see that healthy silver and green tone starting to stand out again. It's almost like the orchid is taking its first deep breath after being freed from all that old material. It's time for us to prepare the solution. And our very first ingredient today is the lotus leaf. Now, before you say anything, I know this leaf might look a little wilted, a little dry, maybe not as fresh as the ones you'd see floating gracefully on a pond. But that doesn't mean the nutrients are gone. Far from it. Inside this leaf, there are still plenty of good compounds, natural minerals, gentle acids, and plant-based enzymes, all locked in, just waiting for us to turn them into something useful for our orchid. Even when the leaf starts to fade, its energy remains. And once we soak it, those nutrients will slowly release into the water, creating a mild, natural tonic that orchids absolutely love. Lotus leaves are special because they're full of protective properties. In traditional gardening, they've been used to strengthen roots, boost leaf health, and even help prevent certain fungal issues. It's like a quiet shield for your plant, subtle but steady. Now, using a clean pair of scissors or a sharp knife, we're going to start cutting the leaf into smaller pieces. The smaller you go, the faster the nutrients will dissolve into our mix later on. You can tear it gently by hand too if you prefer a softer texture. It doesn't need to be perfect. Once you're done, place all those finely cut lotus leaf pieces into a blender. Make sure your blender is clean and dry before you start. We don't want any leftover residue from other mixes to affect our solution. Then, go ahead and fill it with clean water, just enough to cover the leaves completely, maybe a little extra on top, so everything can move smoothly when we start blending. If your water is filtered or rainwater, that's even better. Orchids tend to respond really well to soft, mineral-balanced water. Now comes the fun part. We're going to blend everything together for about 1 to 2 minutes. Now, using a fine strainer, we're going to filter out all of the compounds and leaf fibers that couldn't fully break down in the blender. Take your time with this step. Pour the mixture slowly so the liquid can pass through evenly without clogging the strainer. When you're done, discard the leftover solids or add them to your compost if you have one. I hope you guys like bananas, because that's our next ingredient for today. More specifically, we're going to be using the banana peel. Don't worry, you won't need to waste the fruit itself. Go ahead and peel it off. And as for the banana, you can have it as a light snack while we work. Orchid care and snack time. The perfect combination, right? Now, the banana peel might look simple, but it's actually packed with nutrients that orchids absolutely love: potassium, calcium, magnesium, and a touch of natural sugar that helps stimulate microbial activity in the soil. It's like giving your plant a slow, natural energy boost. With the peel in hand, we're going to start cutting it into small pieces. Around 1 to 2 centimeters each is perfect. The smaller the pieces, the easier it'll be for the nutrients to break down when we blend it later on. Take your time while cutting. You don't need a rush. Banana peel can be a little slippery, so it's better to move slowly and safely. As you cut, you'll notice that slightly sweet smell filling the air. That's one of the things that makes this process so pleasant. It feels natural, homemade, and full of life. Now place all of those banana peel pieces into a clean container. Make sure the container is large enough to give the ingredients a bit of space. We don't want it to feel crowded. Once they're in, go ahead and fill it with clean water, just enough to cover all the peels completely. As soon as the water touches the banana peel, you'll start to notice a faint golden tint forming in the liquid. That's the natural minerals and sugars slowly seeping out, beginning the process of infusion. Next, take a spoon or stick and stir it gently. Don't rush, just slow circular motions to help everything mix evenly. Now we're going to let it sit for a while, ideally a few hours or overnight if you have the time. It's time for us to actually start using the solution. We'll begin with the lotus solution first. This one is gentle and full of natural nutrients that will help refresh the leaves and improve the plant's overall health. Take a clean tissue or soft cloth, dip it into the lotus solution. Make sure it's fully soaked, but not dripping too much. You want it just damp enough to glide smoothly across the surface of the leaves. Now, start wiping gently across each leaf. Move from the base to the tip, following the natural direction of the veins. This not only helps remove any dust or old residue that's built up on the surface, but also allows the leaf to breathe and absorb light more effectively. As you wipe, take a moment to check the condition of the leaves. If you notice any small spots, dryness, or dullness, don't worry. Regular cleaning like this will help restore that healthy shine over time. You'll also notice how the solution leaves a subtle sheen behind. That's the lotus extract working its magic, giving the leaves a protective, nourishing layer without clogging the pores. Repeat this process with each leaf, one by one. And don't forget to wipe the underside too, since that's often where dust and tiny pests like to hide. The key here is patience and care. You're not just cleaning, but giving the plant a gentle spa treatment. Then grab yourself a strainer. We're going to pour the banana solution directly into the lotus solution, but make sure to filter it carefully so none of the solid pieces slip through. Hold the strainer steady above your main container, and slowly begin to pour the banana mixture through. As the liquid flows down, you'll notice the two colors blending together. Next, grab yourself a clean container. Make sure it's large enough for the orchid's roots to spread out comfortably, but not too deep that the whole plant gets submerged. We only want the roots to soak. Remember, orchids don't like having water sitting around their crown or leaves, as that can lead to rot. Once it's settled, begin to pour in our freshly mixed solution, the blend of lotus and banana we made earlier. Pour slowly and evenly so the roots get fully covered, but make sure the base of the plant and the leaves stay completely dry above the waterline. Now we're going to let it sit for about 40 minutes. This soaking time allows the orchid to absorb the natural nutrient from the solution. After 40 minutes, carefully take out the plant. Gently lift it from the container, letting the excess solution drip away from the roots. You'll immediately start to notice a difference. The roots that once looked dull and dry now appear firmer and slightly plumper, with a faint, healthy green sheen starting to return. That's a clear indicator the orchid has absorbed the nutrients it needed and is slowly bouncing back. Take a moment to look closely at the base of the plant. The crown looks cleaner, and the remaining roots are showing early signs of recovery. You might even notice some small white or green root tips emerging. Those are new growths, a beautiful sign that your orchid is regaining its strength. If you run your fingers gently over the roots, you'll feel they're no longer paper thin or brittle, but soft and flexible. Exactly what we want. And you know what time it is? It's time for us to apply the cinnamon powder to the trimmed areas, using a small, clean paintbrush. This step might look simple, but it's actually one of the most important parts of keeping your orchids safe after pruning. Gently dip the tip of your brush into the cinnamon powder. You don't need a lot, just enough to lightly coat it. Then, carefully dab it onto the cut surfaces of the roots or leaves we trimmed earlier. Make sure every exposed wound is fully covered with that fine, golden brown layer. Cinnamon acts as a natural antifungal and antibacterial agent. It helps seal the fresh cuts, preventing bacteria or mold from entering while the plant recovers. It's like giving your orchid a natural bandage. No chemicals, just nature doing its work. If you notice a few areas that look freshly opened or still moist, give them a little extra dusting, but don't go overboard. Too much powder can clog airflow around the roots. We just want a thin, even coat that keeps everything clean and protected. Every good orchid deserves a nice home, and this one is no exception. After all that care we've given, it's only fair to give our orchid a space where it can breathe, grow, and truly flourish. Start with a pot that has clear drainage holes. This is very important. Orchids don't like sitting in water, so proper drainage ensures the roots stay healthy and well aerated. Before we add anything else, place a few small pieces of foam or lightweight stones at the bottom of the pot. This helps create extra airflow and prevents the substrate from becoming compacted over time. Next, we'll begin filling the pot with fresh pine bark, one of the best materials for orchids because it allows both moisture and air to flow freely around the roots. Fill it about halfway, then carefully position your orchid in the center of the pot. Gently spread the roots out, making sure they're not all tangled in one direction. Take your time with this step. Positioning it properly now will help the plant grow straight and stable later on. Once your orchid is standing upright, slowly start filling in the rest of the pot with more pine bark. Tap the sides gently to let the bark settle evenly between the roots, but don't press too hard. Remember, orchids love a bit of space to breathe. Since the plant is still a bit weak, mostly because it's lost quite a few of its roots during recovery, we're going to give it some extra support so it can stand tall and grow straight again. Take a metal stake, or you can also use a bamboo stick if you prefer something lighter, and gently insert into the pot, right next to the flower spike. Be careful not to damage the roots while pushing it in. We just want it deep enough to stay firm and steady. Once the stake is in place, carefully align the orchid's flower spike against it. You'll notice the plant feels a lot more stable when supported this way. Now, take a small plant clip or a soft twist tie and gently clamp the flower spike to the stake. Make sure it's snug enough to hold but not too tight. We don't want to crush the stem or restrict its growth. As for the top layer, we're going to use a nice layer of moss to cover it up. This step not only makes the pot look neat and natural, it also helps keep the moisture level stable for your recovering orchid. Take a handful of sphagnum moss. Make sure it's clean and lightly moistened, not soaking wet. Gently spread it across the top layer of the pine bark, covering the surface evenly. You don't want to pack it too tightly. Instead, let it sit loosely so air can still circulate through it. The moss acts like a natural sponge. It'll hold just enough water to keep the roots hydrated between watering sessions, while still allowing excess moisture to drain out through the bottom of the pot. This balance is especially important for orchids that are rebuilding their root system, since it prevents dehydration without risking rot. As you arrange the moss, make sure it doesn't completely cover the crown of the orchid. That's the very center where new leaves grow. Leaving that area open ensures good airflow and helps prevent fungal issues later on. Now you'll need to set up a routine care plan for the next few weeks. This part is where consistency really matters, especially for orchids that are in recovery. Think of it like helping a patient heal. Gentle, steady care always works better than sudden changes. For the first few weeks, you'll want to keep the environment stable, bright but indirect sunlight, good air circulation, and moderate humidity. Avoid placing the orchid under harsh midday sun or in areas with strong wind or air conditioning. A soft, filtered light from a window or under a shade cloth works perfectly. When it comes to watering, follow the same natural solution we've been using earlier, the lotus and banana blend. Once every 5 to 7 days, check the moss and bark with your finger. If they feel almost dry but still slightly cool to the touch, that's the perfect time to water. Gently pour the solution around the pot until it drains through the bottom. This ensures the roots get the moisture and nutrients they need without being soaked for too long. After 3 weeks, you'll begin to notice some incredible changes, and this is where all your patience and care truly start to pay off. On the outside, The leaves now look greener and more vibrant. They've regained that healthy, glossy shine that tells you the plant is taking in nutrients again. The limpness you saw before has almost completely disappeared, replaced by firm, turgid leaves that hold themselves upright with confidence. The crown of the orchid looks clean and fresh, showing no signs of rot or dryness. But the real surprise is hiding just beneath the surface. Gently lift the pot and take a peek through the drainage holes or the clear sides of your container. Look at those sprouting new roots. They're bright green at the tips, firm, and full of life. Each one is a signal that the orchid is not only surviving, but actively growing again. These new roots are reaching out through the bark, searching for moisture and air. It's an exciting moment for any orchid grower because root growth means your plant has officially entered recovery mode. The nutrients from our natural solution and the balanced watering routine have done their job perfectly. If you listen closely, metaphorically speaking, it's almost like the orchid is breathing again. From this point onward, your main goal is to maintain that same steady care, proper watering, gentle light, and a peaceful spot where it can continue to strengthen. And there you have it. Our little orchid has come such a long way, from tired, wilted leaves and weak roots to standing tall and full of new life once again. It's always such a joy to see how a bit of patience, care, and the right natural touch can completely transform a struggling plant into something thriving and beautiful. Thank you all so much for joining me in today's video. I hope this guide inspires you to take even better care of your own orchids and remind you that with patience and passion, every plant can thrive again. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future care tips and tutorials. Share it with other orchid lovers too. Let's keep growing this community together. Until next time, happy growing everyone. And may your orchids always bloom with beauty and joy.